Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming to watch. So I've got you guys an update on this big Christmas snowstorm that is really going to start to affect many people across the central U.S. as we get just closer and closer to Christmas Day. Right now, it is December 21st. All right, Christmas is 4 days away, and today is actually the first day of winter. So we've got many exciting things to talk about here. We're going to be going into the regular forecast for today, and then the moderate future, I guess you could say, and then the far future. As we get into the new year in January, we're going to be taking a look at what we could be dealing with our winter weather there. All right, so you can see here starting out, we have some pretty good storm units starting to happen here across the southwest. We could see a wave of our atmospheric river is starting to impact portions of the southwest into southern California. You can see a big band of rainfall, heavy rainfall, is moving through the Los Angeles area. We're going to start to see a few flash flood warnings start to come in effect as we get later and later into tonight. We could also see some pretty heavy rainfall, a group of showers and thunderstorms moving their way across portions of the central U.S. You could see really stretching from the Kansas City area down towards Dallas is where we have the heaviest rainfall, so a few inches of rainfall is possible with that, but it's really a matter of how much snow we could be talking about with Christmas Day coming up, because I do think that this next upcoming big snowstorm is really going to cause. I don't think it's going to cause necessarily big problems, but I think it's definitely going to cause a lot of people to want to look at their snowfall totals. All right, so we take a look here at our alerts. Right now, not much going on down here, but we could look at in the southwest here where we have that heavy rainfall. We have a flood watch here going out for portions of western and into southern California, and then also southwestern Arizona is where we have that flood watch. So a lot of areas that saw a lot of flooding a few months ago from Tropical Storm Hillary. Well, the same general areas are going to be talking about flooding as we get, throughout tonight here. And then we can also see a few counties scattered around out here in the four corner states here of Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah, where we have winter storm watches, because some snowfall could roll through that area, and it could actually bring those snow bands could actually bring multiple inches of snow. All right, and we could also see scattered around that same area, we do have winter weather advisories, just calling for some wintry precipitation and most likely some snow here. All right, we can see dense fog advisories going out from northern Kansas all the way up towards extreme southwestern Minnesota, down to southeastern South Dakota. All right, a few counties also into portions of northern Idaho, portions of eastern Washington State, and southeastern Oregon State are also under a dense fog advisory. And then other than that, we should be good with our alerts. So taking a look here at our excessive rainfall. All right, so we're moving on here to our forecast for today. All right, excessive rainfall in Southern California. So I've talked about that, mentioned that big band of heavy rainfall that's going to cause some flooding out there in the South California here. Well, now we could see, based off of the excessive rainfall graphic here shown by the Weather Prediction Center, we can actually see we're already up to a moderate risk for flash flooding. All right, excessive rainfall here, which is an at least 40% chance of flash flooding within a given location here. All right, and that's a pretty big risk. We're almost up to a high risk, and a high risk is where flash flooding is expected. Okay, so you can see, look, we've got some pretty big areas here. Santa Barbara, California, right in the middle of that moderate risk. I mean, you guys can't be in really a more targeted spot for flash flooding here. But Oxnard, Thousand Oaks, Santa Monica, all right, Sim Valley, I think that's what it says. All right, just off to the west of there. All right, Lompoc, you guys are pretty much all in that moderate risk. But in these national forests here and those hills, I guess you could say, or mountains. All right, there could be mudslides. All right, so there could be road closures for sure, not just because of flooding, but also because of mudslides. But I do think the main threat will certainly be flooding. All right, a few islands out here. Okay, Santa Cruz Island, also included in that risk. This island out here, which is closer to Los Angeles. But if you're in the Los Angeles metro area, and specifically off to the west of there, if you're off to the east, then you're okay. But if you're off to the west of the Los Angeles metro area, you guys got to be ready for flash flooding because you are most likely in that moderate risk. But Santa Ana, all right, these more populated areas, Oceanside, on Ontario, I think that's what that says. Santa Clarita, all right, Santa Maria. All right, so a lot of cities out here and a lot of major populated areas. San Diego down here, that are under this. This is a slight risk in the yellow, which is at least a 15% risk of flash flooding. All right, outside of that, you've got the green zone or marginal risk for severe weather, or excessive rainfall. Sorry about that. Lancaster, Palmdale, Victorville. All right, we've got Banning, Cathedral City, Palm Desert, and Indio, all in that marginal risk, which is at least a level, which is a level 1 out of 4, which is at least a 5% risk of excessive rainfall within a given location. All right, so the day 2 outlook has a bigger area, but it's not as high the risk. We have a slight risk here, including portions of southern Arizona into southern California. We've got Phoenix and Tucson, Arizona. All right, but you can see, San Diego is included in this risk for tomorrow. Palm Desert, Indio, all right, that whole area. Phoenix, Mesa, Tucson, and the Sonoran Desert. All right, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I apologize about that. All in Arizona. All of you guys are under that slight risk for excessive rainfall tomorrow. The day 3 outlook, we don't have any chance for excessive rainfall, and we shouldn't actually see more rainfall, or above average rainfall, I should say, after tomorrow. All right, so taking a look here at the GFS model. All right, we're taking a look at our upcoming snowstorms that I think are going to be rolling around right around Christmas. All right, so as you know, we're well into Christmas time. Christmas is now days away, so people are busy traveling, shopping, just doing all those last minute plans, getting ready for family gatherings. All right, so a lot of stuff is going on. So it's important also to stay ahead of the weather, because usually around this time, things are pretty active. And so we happen to be dealing with most likely a pretty good snowstorm. All right, and storm system that's going to be coming in from the west. All right, that's going to come together, and it's going to create this pretty big snowstorm that's going to roll right around Christmas. All right, so we look here at our this is our current setup. We have a pretty good piece of energy that's it's got a counterclockwise spin to it. All right, so that's good. That's why it's bringing moisture into the United States rather than away from it. So that's how it's doing that. All right, we've also got more precipitation up there in the Pacific Northwest. Notice how we get to tomorrow. All right, this is 1 p.m. tomorrow, and these two pieces of energy are starting to come together. And we get to the 23rd, okay, which is Saturday. All right, we're getting to Saturday here, and now we can start to see that high pressure. It's pretty much gone, because these low pressure systems here are going to merge together to create one big central localized low pressure center, and then that high pressure is going to be kicked out. All right, notice also how we do have a pretty good cold front coming in from the northwest. All right, that's going to be pushing down south, causing for that rainfall to change to snow. And so the reason why we're going to see snow is not only in the upper elevations and also on the ground level here, is because we have that cold front, and this could be called a cold blast too, whatever you want to call it. It's coming down pretty quickly, and it's going to try and get ahead of that precipitation. But here we go. That more organized piece of energy I was talking about with that counterclockwise spin bringing a lot of rainfall into the southwest. Well, it's going to take the storm system for itself, and it's going to form. These two pieces of energy are going to merge probably just off to the east of where they are now. So that's shaping up to be somewhere in that area. All right, and notice how we're getting to December 23rd, which is Saturday still. All right, and this is the day before Christmas Eve. All right, and so we're getting into 7 p.m., so we're getting into evening hours here. And now at this point, we've got a winter storm on our hands with a pretty good cold front coming down, all right, from the northwest, what's going to fall behind the system. And you've got one low pressure already. So these two pieces of energy have pretty much have started to merge at this point. All right, now we get to Christmas Eve here. This is Christmas Eve. We have a big cold blast coming down from the north. All right, and so we've got high pressure coming in on the backside of this. So you've got cold, dry air coming in on the backside. Also, some pretty warm and moisture coming on the front. All right, I don't think we're gonna get a severe weather event from this. So you must be thinking, thank God that we aren't getting it, because that would be the worst possible timing. But yeah, I don't think that we're gonna have enough instability. All right, we're definitely the moisture is gonna be there. You could see these isobars are moving in the direction that they should be they should be moving into that position for in order to get some sort of severe weather event. But I think it's just gonna come in as heavy rain, maybe some thunderstorms with that. But I don't think we're gonna get any severe storms. But look at this, very heavy rainfall showing up. All right, and this is all throughout Christmas Eve. But notice how on the backside, look at this cold blast. It's made it pretty much all the way down to the Rockies here, Colorado. And so, I would draw that pretty much just north of there. All right, so that's definitely going to lead for all this precipitation on the backside to change to snow. So now you've got an all-out Christmas winter storm system here for portions of western Nebraska. This will follow into portions of South Dakota as the storm system evolves and grows larger here, but definitely into Colorado and Wyoming. This might even be an all-snow event. All right, but we could really see a lot of that backside snow. A lot of that backside precipitation will change over to snow as we get to really the morning of Christmas Eve. All right. So I also want you guys to notice all that very heavy rainfall down there in Texas and Oklahoma. I think that could definitely lead to flash flooding. Maybe some strong to severe storms with this. All right, I think it's certainly possible, but I think that it's running down the clock, the system, to really show, to really get the model's attention, if you want to put it that way. I know that sounds a little odd, but if you get what I mean there, like usually when the models are showing a system that we're pretty certain is going to happen, because we could see we're only 66 hours out. Usually you'll have a pretty good signal for what's going to happen if there's going to be a significant weather event at this point, because we are definitely getting very close to the system. But we don't have any forecasted, chance for any severe weather. But I think that could still change, but not that much. So very slightly. So I think at the biggest chance, I think we could get a slight chance for severe weather, but I don't think it's going to be that major. I think that really simply the time has just ran out for this to show that it could be more of a major event. But we're getting to midday Christmas Eve. All right, that low pressure center is starting to move north, so that storm system with all that precipitation is going to be more intense up here by that low pressure. But let's say we get more developing showers and thunderstorms, or I should say just showers and precipitation, all right, on the backside of this. Okay, I think that's where we could get more snow into portions of Nebraska, into Kansas, and then maybe into the panhandle of Oklahoma region. All right, because look at this cold blast. All right, it's made it pretty much all the way down to really where Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas and Colorado meet. Okay, so that's definitely far south enough to change most of that rainfall to snow. All right, but here we go. We're getting into Christmas morning. All right, this is Christmas Day, 7 a.m. Christmas Day here. All right, and a lot of that snowfall has changed back to rainfall because this area is here just loaded with moisture and it's very warm. Well, look at these temperatures out here. All right. Yeah, look at this. We're in the 40s and 50s, really in this area, but we can see we're getting into the 30s there, but certainly not for some areas not even close to below freezing, and we're still in the mid to upper 30s and then into the 40s, just in front of that cold front. So that's why we're not seeing snow unless you're back here in these blue and pink and purple shaded areas where we are inside that cold front and it's very cold. All right, that's where it's cold enough to snow. But with this system, it's really just a matter of if you're above freezing or not. That's really what we're dealing with here. And so we can see really once that the cold air and the warm air meet, that's where we can see that rainfall is changing back to snowfall. All right, and so we're getting into Christmas Day afternoon here. The heavier rainfall in the south is moving off to Georgia and then eventually the Carolinas, so a very wet weekend coming up for you guys. This is Sunday into Monday that we're talking about this time frame, but that rainfall is changing. It's changing back to snowfall as that cold front is actually digging deeper, right? We can start to see below average temperatures really starting to get all the way down to Texas here, all right, as that cold front is making its way farther south. Warm air will continue to fill in the western U.S. All right, so that's going to definitely decrease the size of this cold blast here. All right, and it may weaken the cold front a little bit, so the cold air might not be as intense as it could be if this warm air wasn't there. All right, but we're getting into the night of the 25th into the 26th, and the storm system is kind of falling apart as that cold front is kind of lifting a little bit and it's moving with the system. All right, but it's gonna stay here and linger around for about a day or so, right around the Midwest, and I think that's where we could see a few additional inches of snow, just right into here because there's just a tiny pocket of some leftover snow showers from maybe moderate to heavy snowfall possible inside of there before the system moves on out into the northeast, and then we're going to be talking about rain once again in the northeast Tuesday to Wednesday of next week. All right, so that's a pretty active system coming up that you just saw there. And then taking a look at the rest of December into the beginning of January. All right, we don't really see any major storm systems until we get to about January 2nd here, where we can actually start to see another system forming. This one isn't looking that big. All right, but that brings some snow into areas farther south, really far south, actually getting into Kansas. But that is pretty close to Texas there. A lot of cold air, though, I think could actually end up coming back to the United States. We could be talking about a pattern flip here, meaning that we're going to be back to cold blasts. And, we've been talking about cold air in the north, warm air in the south, but mainly a very warm December is what we were dealing with. But I think that could change as we get to into January. All right, and then, here comes a big, 970 millibar wave, storm system coming in from the Pacific Northwest. That's certainly going to cause problems in the United States here. And here we go. We get a system coming up. Big severe weather event, though, showing up here on the GFS for the Southeast. Watch out for that. That looks like a pretty impactful system and a big, massive Arctic blast here coming down behind it. All right, and this is really pushing into a lot of widespread areas here. All right, time frame for that is January 6th. Very far out. That's 384 hours out, so can't really speak much on that. Just other than the fact that is a pretty big signal for a big storm system. All right, in that time frame. So taking a look at the European model for our snowfall, I just want to zoom in here on the north central U.S. because I think that's where we're going to see the most significant snowfall totals. All right, then we'll look at the south central because I think we will see some snow down there. But taking a look here, we can see the heaviest snow for sure is down here in southeastern South Dakota into northeastern Nebraska. Look at this. We're seeing really widespread 8 to 7 to, anywhere from 6 to 11 inches of snow is possible in here. But yeah, you can see 11 inches of snow right there, 9 inches, 8 inches, 7 inches. Really, this entire area in pink and purple that you see here, you could expect anywhere from really 7 to 11 inches of snow. Maybe even some heavier amounts, really getting up to a foot of snow. Wow, look at this, a foot of snow into portions of northeastern Nebraska. All right, and if you guys don't believe me, I know it sounds pretty crazy, but taking this out to, when this system finally finishes, this is the entire duration of the system. Okay, we're ending on the 27th. This is how much snow could be on the ground. So, certainly a white Christmas, because if you take this to Christmas Day, all right, we'll take it to the end of Christmas, all right, this would be the technical end of Christmas Day. All right, you see these numbers aren't going to be as impressive because the storm will, at this point, it'll be starting to drop snow. Okay, but a few inches of snow will certainly be on the ground, and I think what qualifies for a white Christmas is at least 1 inch or more of snow on the ground on the beginning of Christmas Day. I think that is what a white Christmas is considered to be. All right, and I think that's certainly going to be the scene for many people out here in the north central U.S. Just looking at this, we could already have 5 to 7 inches of snow in this little stripe here in between Kansas and Nebraska, right around here in that pink. All right, that's where we could actually be dealing with some substantial snowfall amounts already on Christmas morning. All right, but for the duration, for the end of the system, this is when the system is over. This is how much snow we'll have. All right, we can see even another band here, another band just north of that band I was talking about earlier that could drop up to 11 inches of snow here in southeastern South Dakota. Well, we could see out into portions of northeastern South Dakota and then southwestern Minnesota. That's where we could see similar snowfall totals here in amounts. We could see really 7 to 11 inches is what you could say with this, but I think that the heaviest snow based off of the arrow here is definitely down right between the southeast South Dakota and northeast North Dakota or northeast Nebraska border here. That's where we can see the heaviest snow. All right, but surrounding areas, certainly a lot of snow. 2 to 4 inches of snow is likely. Back here in the western Nebraska, we could be talking about really 1 to 3 inches of snow. Same thing if you're up into South Dakota or North Dakota, and then into northern Minnesota, which is going to be an area that's going to see more widespread snow. It's not going to be as much snow. It's not going to be like widespread, up to 10 inches of snow. It's just going to be widespread, like 1 to 4 inches, with some locally higher amounts here. All right, but you can see right into here. All right, this little stripe here, we could actually be dealing with 4 to 6 inches of snow, where we see these deeper colors of blue and then white. All right, right around the Thunder Bay area, and then closer off to the UP of Michigan, we could be talking about maybe 8 to 10 inches of snow. So 3 areas that I'm targeting here for the the north central U.S. here for snowfall. I think it's going to be right into here. This is the biggest. This is going to be the most likely area to see that the heaviest snow and the highest snowfall totals. Second area is right into there, and then I'm definitely watching this area. I think a signal for snow could tick up, and I think meaning that we're gonna see a more substantial signal for snow, meaning that we're probably gonna see models showing more snow for this area. But we'll just see what happens, see how this plays out. But yeah, definitely similar snowfall totals to this is what you could expect. For this upcoming system. All right, the GFS for snow. pretty similar. All right, let me take this out to December 27th. All right, so this is Thursday. All right, Wednesday, really Wednesday to Thursday. All right, so taking a look here, we can see the GFS wants a lot more snow farther south. All right, and also wants it farther to the east. So you can see in that area that the European was showing for maybe up to a foot of snow. All right, it wants only about an inch. All right, that's a big difference. We could see that the similar snowfall totals for sure. They're still there. We could see around a foot of snow in this green shade. All right, it's there, but it's off to the east. It's into portions of western Iowa and then southern Minnesota, all the way down to northwestern Kansas is where we could see those substantial snowfall totals. All right, that's just going to cause for that backside snow like 1 to 2 inches to follow up behind those states I talked about. So the rest of Minnesota will see really, all I'm talking about all of Minnesota seeing at least an inch of snow. Now more snow for North Dakota, South Dakota seeing less snow, but more widespread snow. And then in the western portion of Nebraska is where we could see 1 to 2 inches. But if you are very close, like to the border of Nebraska and Iowa, GFS is picking up on more substantial, like talking about 9 to a foot of snow, 9 inches to a foot of snow, certainly possible there. All right, but northwestern Kansas, GFS showing a pretty big winter storm for you guys. All right, but really Iowa is got the golden ticket here for snowfall. Look at all of that. That's a lot of snow, 14 inches possible, which is 2 inches over a foot. All right, into the UP of Michigan and northern Wisconsin, where we can also see anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snow. All right, it's possible, but really northern Wisconsin is inside of that range, and that's going to be the area that's going to see the most snow based off of the latest GFS run. All right. So we'll take a look quickly at the south central U.S. All right, and we can see down here, this is really the mountainous regions, but also the surrounding areas of Colorado could pick up a few inches of snow. But look at this, in the mountainous regions, these upper elevations, guys, could really pick up a lot of snow, but 15 inches right around the central Colorado and New Mexico borderline there. That is a lot of snow. That's actually the most snow that we see here. Wow, 16 inches. I just realized that. 16 inches showing up here into Iowa. Wow, so very substantial winter storm. Actually, I didn't realize this, but we actually now see, really up to a foot of snow out there in the northeastern Kansas, all right? But down towards New Mexico, Arizona, these upper elevations, guys, I mean, that's where you're going to see, a pretty ridiculous amount of snow, like 2 feet of snow is possible. I wouldn't say 2 feet, actually, but, 18 to 20 inches of snow is possible there. But yes, this will definitely lead to a lot of snow in those areas that are just naturally colder, or that will be seeing precipitation while they are inside that, or behind that cold front, I should say. All right. So, taking a look here for the last part of the this last really section of the update with 3 tabs open for this part of the update, we're talking about what we could expect for this next time frame that we're going into. So right around Christmas time, we like to look at what January could be shaping up to look like here. And so taking a look at one of the extended model runs, this is the CFS model going out around 700. What is this? Let me see. CFS goes out 768 hours, so a very long time out. This is just a signal of what could happen based off of what the storms look like. All right, this is nothing compared to what our forecast for any of these storms will be. We're not even close to a forecast. All right, for any of these systems. This is just a sign of what could happen. All right, so at this point, we're getting well into January here. We could start to see a pretty good blast of cold air. Really, wow, this is widespread cold air getting pretty far south. We can see all the way up from Montana going down to really the deep south is where we can see this cold air. But this is going to be one of those moments where uh, the uh, all this the area that's going to be producing all this cold air is really just going to weaken tremendously. All right. But yeah, the polar vortex is certainly, if the polar vortex weakens, okay, that's when it could become wavy, and it could weaken to the point where it dips down into the northern U.S. That's where we could get a cold blast. All right, that could actually lead to some big snowstorms if we get a snowstorm coming from the southwest here, like we're going to be seeing during Christmas time. That's where we could see substantial snowfall totals if we have a cold blast coming through that same general time frame. But here we go. We could start to see, a storm system coming from the southwest, and we have a cold blast. So it certainly looks very likely that we're going to start to be dealing with cold blasts and cold fronts getting into January. What happens with that storm system? It moves to the south, but it brings snowfall very far south into Texas and then the deep south. So, it's a signal for that. Here comes another system coming up from the south, meeting up with some cold air in the northeast, and we get a very nasty winter storm. Very heavy snowfall, looking like a nor'easter with that one, if that position's obviously off the coast there. All right, but a lot of snowfall showing up for southern New England, and then all the way towards Illinois, and then the Ohio Valley getting in on some snow at that. So that is, that's very far out. All right, but that's a pretty substantial signal for an Arctic blast and a significant snowstorm. We just see very active times ahead with many storm systems in this run here. All right, so taking a look at our weekly temperature anomaly. So the week of this time frame here is what basically what you could be looking at. So we'll look at the 12Z, because the 12Z is actually the latest run that came out. Oh, wait, no, it's actually only 2 weeks. It's still processing the model run. So we'll just look at the 6Z. All right, so the week of December the 28th, we're starting to see a lot of this warm air start to shift over to the east. I think that'll start to lift to the north, and yep, here we go. We're starting to see colder, below average temperatures some pockets of below average temperatures start to enter the southern U.S. as this warm air lifts to the north. All right. Then as we get into January, this is the week of January the 11th. Look at all this cold air sitting out there on the eastern seaboard, as we're still very warm in the north, and then maybe into the central U.S. too. We're still going to stay warm. All right, and then we're pretty much, the entire country is warm here for the week of January the 18th, but the long-range models have been picking up on a boundary of cold air that could stay in place just offshore and sometimes getting over land here near southern New England, Delmarva, and then maybe all the way into the northeast. All right, so I think that could definitely play a big role in in what form of precipitation we see as we get into January. So maybe some snow could come into play if that actually happens here. But February the 1st, all right, this is now we're getting all the way to February. All right, and we can actually see a lot of cold air coming down, definitely from this polar vortex. This is going to be one of those moments, if this were to happen, where that polar vortex would be weaker, and it would start to be wavy, and just one of these branches would come all the way down to the northern U.S., spill into the north, and just allow for way below average temperatures to really enter there. But we could see positive PNA out in the west, all right, with above average temperatures, and then a negative PNA in the east. So could be a pattern that we'll be in towards the end of January into February, but yeah, that's very far out, so we really don't know for sure what's going to be happening then. So taking a look at our current projected GFS snowfall totals out 384 hours to January 6th. I mean, look at this. We are very, very active. All right, we can see the western U.S. is just going to get dumped on with snow. I mean, look how much snow could fall, and I just want to talk about how substantial the signal is for a few massive snowstorms to move through the west. So very active times ahead for the west, central U.S. too, with our few upcoming systems, mainly around Christmas time. We see that big signal for snow, and even into the northeast. A few substantial winter storms are certainly possible based off of this run of the GFS. All right. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch. I'll see you guys in the next video. So I'll keep you guys posted on what we are going to be dealing with for our Christmas Day snowstorm. All right. We'll keep you guys posted on what the models are going to be in agreement with for when we get into January. And then, as we get throughout January, I'll start talking more and more about maybe what we could be seeing for winter, because the official start to winter is today. All right, so yeah, just be ready for the season. Be ready for today, these upcoming storm systems, and as always, I will keep you guys posted and up to date on whatever is going to be happening weather-wise across the country. So thank you all for coming to watch this video, and I'll see you guys next.